out a little bit more about why he's here in India with us. So Jerry, would you mind explaining a little bit more about your visit and tell us a little more about yourself?
Of course. Thank you so much, Libin. So I'm here in India to get a chance to visit some schools, visit some students who are here, specifically to help answer questions about study in the United States and about study at the University of Scranton. My experience in higher education in the United States now is more than 30 years long. I've been working at Scranton in many different roles. My current role is Vice President for Enrollment Management and External Affairs, which includes our admissions process for both international students and students in the United States.
Excellent. So the University of Scranton, could you tell us a little bit more about when it was founded and where it's located?
Absolutely, I'm happy to do so. So Scranton is a wonderful institution. It was founded in 1888, and it has a long tradition of education at the undergraduate and graduate and now even doctoral level. We are located in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Now, that's a city of about 75,000 people, so it's a small to mid-sized U.S. city located 2 hours north of Philadelphia and just 2 hours west of New York City. We think this is a terrific location for students studying in the United States because from just a short drive, you can be in some of the largest cities in the eastern United States. I mentioned already New York and Philadelphia. We're also just 3 hours from Baltimore, 4 hours from Boston and Washington. So you really can see many of the major U.S. cities from a short drive.
So what are some of the programs that an Indian student would be interested in pursuing at the University of Scranton, both at the undergraduate and graduate level?
Excellent question. So what I find most often here in India is questions about our programs in the sciences. That's one very common area, but also in business. So at both the undergraduate and graduate level, we have terrific program offerings in both areas. We have more than 60 undergraduate programs, more than 35 graduate programs, and they cover a whole range of areas of interest. Oftentimes we hear a lot of questions about programs that are STEM or STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math designated. And those programs at the undergraduate level, there are many, both in the natural sciences as well as in physics or mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, engineering management, computer science, just excellent programs at the undergraduate level. And similarly, at the master's level, we have terrific business programs, including a wonderful MBA with concentrations in everything from marketing to entrepreneurship and supply chain management, as well as business analytics, our newest concentration in the MBA, which is also a STEM designation. So it is a STEM MBA for business analytics. We have a Master of Accountancy, which is very popular. It helps prepare students for the CPA exam. And there also is a track in that called Accounting Analytics that is also a STEM designated master's program. And then finally, and most recently, we've added a Master of Science in Business Analytics, complementing this a whole range of terrific business masters. The last master's area I'll mention is Health Administration, which is another terrific program, very popular with students here in India, both health professionals who maybe are medical doctors or dentists who are looking to forge a career in leadership positions in their health institutions. We have an outstanding faculty who themselves worked in hospital systems and are now teaching others how to do so as well. And that program in health administration is accredited by CAMI, which is a national accrediting body in the US, very distinguished accrediting body for that as well.
Excellent. With regards to admission requirements, that's one of the few things that a lot of students look at when trying to shortlist a university. Because they want to know if their background fits your requirements. Mm-hmm. So could you tell us a little bit more about the admission requirements from an undergraduate and graduate standpoint?
Absolutely. So we try to make the admission process as friendly as we can. So for undergraduate students, if you look at all in the US, it's very common to apply to schools using something called the Common Application. Scranton accepts the Common Application, so do 800 other US schools. So it's very common, hence the name. It's a very common way to apply to school. It's free, and it allows you to send your application to many, many different schools in the United States, and Scranton is in that network. So what we look for in an undergraduate student is First and foremost, you need to be a good student in your pre-college preparation. We want to know that you've been serious in your work, and we like to see that your grades have been really going steadily throughout your studies. We don't like to see a lot of ups and downs in grades. So we'll look very carefully at your transcripts, and they mean more to us than just about anything else. We really look very much and very seriously at your transcripts. Of course, we'll also consider if you've taken the SAT exam or the ACT exam, and those things can also factor into an admissions decision. But if you've been a solid student at the undergraduate level, you have a good chance of being admitted into Scranton. Similarly, for graduate school, we try to make the process as easy as we can. In this case, we have our own application. It's also free to apply, and in that application, what we're looking for is, I would say, one of two things. We are looking for a terrific undergraduate study. We like to see students with good grades. At the minimum, you'd need to have a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale in your undergraduate grades. That would be something that would really be important for all of our graduate programs. Some graduate programs, particularly our MBA and our Master of Science in Finance, would also look for you to have either 3 years of work experience that's related to business or to finance, or if you don't have that 3 years, then we'd be looking for a GMAT or a GRE score from you. So if you have worked for a little bit and you're looking to now pursue your studies, you can do that at Scranton without a GMAT or GRE, as long as you meet our work requirements. If you're just looking to study right out of your undergraduate studies, well then again, there's an option for you, so long as you take the GMAT or the GRE in our MBA. Most of our other programs do not require the GMAT or the GRE. All we're looking for in those programs is for you to have that good grades in your undergraduate study. That 3.0 is really the thing that we look for more than anything.
One of the other factors that students look at when looking at a university is cost. Can you tell us a little more about the scholarship opportunities for students at the undergraduate level?
Absolutely. So Scranton is a private university in the United States, and that means a few things that are very important. One thing it means is that we invest so much in the quality of our education. We try very hard to make sure that students at Scranton are getting the very best in lab equipment, in facilities, in opportunities to pursue their studies. As a result, we're not an inexpensive school, and I'm very honest about that as I talk to families. But if we believe that we're a tremendous value, for undergraduate students in particular, we try very hard to work with better students as well to offer scholarships to help make our education more affordable, but most importantly, to recognize the terrific work that students have done during their college preparation. In those cases, our undergraduate scholarships can range anywhere from $13,000 to $15,000 up to $25,000, or even full tuition scholarships. So students who have had terrific backgrounds in high school and or who've taken that SAT exam and done well in the SAT, I would really encourage you to not be scared away by what you see as a sticker price for Scranton, but instead to see what that scholarship might be to help you determine if we're the right place for you. We think we are for so many students, and we believe that the value of our education really is worth the cost involved in it. That's especially true for our undergraduate, but also for our graduate studies programs.
And I believe at the graduate level you do offer graduate assistantship positions. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and how a student could apply for them?
Thank you, Libin. It's a great question. So for graduate students, we do get asked about scholarships. We don't have scholarships specifically, but we do have graduate assistantships. And students can first apply to Scranton for admission into their program, and if they're accepted, they can then apply for a graduate assistantship. We offer half tuition graduate assistantships and full tuition graduate assistantships that also include a stipend for helping with living expenses. So there are many opportunities to do that. Beyond that, though, we think our graduate programs are really very competitively priced for U.S. schools. They're roughly about $960 a credit, and our programs range from 30 credit programs up through 54 credit programs. So we think that looking at U.S. schools, you'll find that credit cost is about where most schools are, particularly schools of the kind of quality and recognition that the University of Scranton enjoys.
Excellent. So in terms of job opportunities on campus, international students, I believe, are allowed to work 20 hours a week on campus. So what are some of the options that an international student would have at the University of Scranton to work on campus?
That's a great question. So International students at Scranton bring so much to our community. They bring culture, they bring ideas, and many of them also get a chance to work while they're there. And they do that in working in various offices on campus. We have food service companies that work with the university, and many times international students and U.S. students will work with those companies, working in catering and other areas. But many offices also employ students. In my own division, for example, we employ students who help with admissions, and international students are working with us directly. Other offices will employ students to assist in their work, whether that work be in marketing or in finance, other areas of the university. There are many, many opportunities for jobs on campus that are funded by the university and that international students do compete for. So we think that's one way in which you can enhance your studies. It helps to keep you grounded while you're studying. So students who are working generally do better in school because they have to manage their time better. And it also gives you some money to help cover your expenses.
Excellent. So speaking of food and catering services, it brings me to my next point is about dorms or hostels on campus. And I believe University of Scranton is one of the top ranked dorms facilities on campus. So a little bit more about, if you could tell us a little bit more about opportunities of living on campus.
Happy to do that. So we are really a terrific place in terms of the kind of recognition that we get. And Libin's right, we've been recognized for everything from the best campus food to friendliest to the best dorms. We have, for undergraduate students, dorms that change as you go through your studies. So first-year students live in one style of housing, second-year students live in a different style, and then by the time you're in your junior and senior year, we have apartments for our upper-class students to live in. For graduate students, we also offer housing, all of it apartments, and some just really beautiful spaces that our graduate students can live in that are very near to campus. Students, graduate students who choose not to live on campus, oftentimes will rent from apartments near the university. Scranton is a city that's not as expensive as many U.S. cities, so students find that they can live there more cheaply than they could in, say, New York or Philadelphia, and still have a much nicer, much larger apartments for what they would otherwise be paying in bigger cities.
Excellent. One of the big questions that we get asked from students in India is their ability to find a job after they graduate. Could you help us know a little bit more about what the university does to help students at the University of Scranton to find jobs?
Excellent question as well. So first of all, our undergraduate students are extremely successful getting employment or pursuing additional graduate study. 98% of the class that graduated in just 6 months after graduation, which was from last year rather, were employed or pursuing graduate study after just those 6 months. For our graduate students, it was 99%. So our students are extremely successful. They are because for a number of reasons. First, of course, it's because of the preparation of our faculty, the kinds of studies that they're given, the opportunities to apply what they learn in class in very practical ways. Both undergraduate and graduate students are given those opportunities. That prepares them and makes them very, very good candidates for employment. The second is, because of our location, because we're just 2 hours from New York, just 2 hours from Philadelphia, larger employers still come to campus. So twice a year, we have career expos. More than 100 organizations will come to campus, and they'll recruit students directly from our campus. We also have opportunities for students to go to New York and to go to Philadelphia or to Boston or to Washington, to have an opportunity to talk to people in larger firms, to learn about employment opportunities for them. Students pursue internships that can sometimes lead to employment, and we have resources to help them get those internships. And those are some of the ways in which we like to make sure that our students are successful, regardless of what their goals might be.
While he's talking, you watch the camera.
Okay.
Right, go ahead with the next question.
I think that's all I have. Covered pretty much. In regards to students applying to the University of Scranton and getting there, what are some of the resources that you guys provide to international students?
Thank you for that question. So first of all, Scranton is actually pretty easy to get to. We are just 2 hours from the Newark airport, which has direct flights to Mumbai, and we're also just about 3 hours from JFK. But there's also an airport just 15 minutes from campus that has connections to Newark, that has connections to Atlanta, to Chicago, to Charlotte, to many of these major hubs in the U.S., also Detroit, you may be able to find direct flights also. So we will provide service. We help to pick students up from that Scranton airport if they arrive, and we make sure that you get settled in when you first get there. It's very important to us that students feel welcome at Scranton. And so that's some of the ways in which we want to make sure that you fit right in. There's an orientation that's provided for your first couple days of study. It tells you all about what you need to know about campus, what kind of services are available to all students, what sorts of things you might do for fun outside of class. All those little questions you might have, we help to answer those questions as soon as you get there so that you're comfortable, you feel ready when your classes start after those first couple of days.
As an international student coming to the United States, it can sometimes be intimidating to move to a foreign country and also to try and fit in. So how does the University of Scranton help international students fit in and find their way in campus?
That's a terrific question. And first of all, students who consider study in the United States coming from India, it's a really wonderful thing. It's a brave thing to do. If you think it's a great thing to do, it's a life-changing experience for you. And we recognize that. And we also recognize how important you are to our campus, to our community. So we have many, many services. We actually have a whole office devoted just to working with international students, to helping international students to connect with each other, to connect with other U.S. students so that you don't feel alone. And something that I think I hear more than anything else from students coming from no matter where they are in the globe is that Scranton becomes a second home. It becomes a family, and that's very much how we see your time there. We want to get to know you, we want you to get to know us, and we want to make sure that you always feel like you have a place to go, a place with some resources that are available to you. So our International Student Services Office has terrific lounge space and other resources for you to go to whenever you're there and need that kind of extra support. There are clubs and activities specifically for international students, and then there's more than 80 clubs or activities just for all students that they can participate in. And so we find our international students, they do get involved. They become leaders on our campus. They find themselves changing the way we work, because the university is a place that's really made by our students. Our students help to shape the kind of education we provide, and we think you offer so much to us. We really do hope you give us a careful look.
Excellent. And as we wrap up, could you briefly describe or give us some points as to why an international student or an Indian student specifically should choose the University of Scranton?
Absolutely. So first, it's a place that I love very much. I'm very happy always and excited to share information about it with others. It's the same thing I hear from our graduates. Some of our finest graduates are actually from India, and they've been tremendously successful here in work and in other in sciences and working in healthcare systems, doing terrific work. That's the main thing I would say. Scranton is a place where you will find yourself at home, but you'll also find yourself after your education ready to take on whatever profession you have and be tremendously successful in doing it. We think we do that better than anybody. We think if you look at educational opportunities in the U.S. or elsewhere, you won't find a better place, and you certainly won't find a place that will appreciate and really treasure you more than the University of Scranton.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Jerry. And we have Mr. Ashok, who's going to help tell us a little bit more about Indo Global Studies. He's the CEO of Indo Global Studies.
Thank you for good questions, Libin, and thank you, Jerry, for helping out all the questions. And hello, this is Ashok Kallam, and I'm with IGS LLC here, and I'm taking care of Scranton operations here in India. And I would be a point of contact where I can help you out, all the help what you need to connect with Scranton University. And I'll be available here in Hyderabad, and I have my contact number for you, 9912881199. And you can reach me out on that number and take all the help you need. Thank you for watching out this video.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry. Thank you, Ashok. That's all we have for now, and we look forward to hearing more about your questions and your queries about the University of Scranton. Thank you.